Austin Reaves' million-dollar destiny. A shocking new twist in Los Angeles. There are moments in an NBA season when one player becomes the unexpected heartbeat of a franchise, when pressure, injuries, and shifting roles collide to reveal something deeper about a player's future. And right now, the Los Angeles Lakers are living inside one of those moments. Tonight's story begins not with LeBron James, not with Luka Dončić, but with a quiet star who refuses to fade into the background, Austin Reaves. Before we dive into the whirlpool of numbers, contract speculation, and insider takes that are shaking the Lakers front office, let me say just one thing. If you're already feeling that the story is heading towards something big, don't forget to hit the like button and leave your comment at the end. What's unfolding here deserves a reaction of every Lakers fan on the planet. Now let's unravel this. The rise before the storm the season began like a fairy tale that suddenly started running on turbo. In his first 6 games, Austin Reaves was playing like a man who had discovered a new gear, averaging 32 points per game, carrying the offense on his shoulders, attacking every matchup as if he were carving out space for a legacy that had long been waiting for its explosion. Lakers fans felt it, the league felt it, and executives across the NBA certainly noticed it. But there was something more happening beneath the surface, something that would soon redefine his market value and maybe even his future in Los Angeles. Because while Reaves was lighting up scoreboards, the Lakers' roster was collapsing under injuries. The normally structured offense turned into a patchwork improvisation. And in that chaos, Reaves was handed the keys to the kingdom. He wasn't just a secondary option or the convenient shooter in the corner. He became the initiator, the engine, the problem every opposing coach had to circle on the pregame whiteboard. And he delivered. But every rise eventually meets its pivot point. The return of the Giants when the injuries healed, the Lakers' identity shifted again. First came Luka Dončić, restored, refreshed, and ready to reclaim his spot as an All-NBA first-team floor general. His presence alone shifted Reaves' responsibilities. The ball didn't live in Reaves' hands as often. The offense tightened. The freedom he once had began to shrink. Then, like the final piece of the puzzle snapping into place, LeBron James returned from his brief injury spell. Suddenly, Reaves was no longer carrying the Lakers. He was navigating within a system filled with Hall of Fame gravity. Fewer shots, fewer isolations, fewer opportunities to explode. And yet, the numbers didn't crumble. In the 2 games since LeBron's return, Reaves has averaged 24 points per game, 50% from the field, a less impressive 2-4. 12 from deep plus 5 assists, and 15 total rebounds. Those numbers, for a player shifting roles midseason, are a testament to something special. He can adapt and still produce. That is the exact profile of a player who gets paid in the offseason. And someone very respected says the same thing. Loudly, the voice of a former NBA star. Arenas weighs in on Gil's arena. Former NBA All-Star Gilbert Arenas dropped a take that electrified the conversation around Reaves. If you're averaging 28 points and shooting 31% from 3, you're going to shoot better now that I'm on the court. Gilbert Arenas sees what many analysts miss. Reaves isn't struggling. He's adjusting. And adjusting next to LeBron is one of the hardest tasks in the league. Arenas believes Reaves' shot selection will smooth out. That playing next to LeBron, with the defense shifting toward the superstar, will open better looks, better rhythm, better efficiency. If you understand Arenas' voice, you know he doesn't hand out compliments cheaply. And he wasn't the only one speaking up. Kenyon Martin drops the money bomb on the same show. Former NBA star Kenyon Martin delivered one of the most decisive statements of the offseason narrative. He's going to drop 3 or 4 points off his average, but he's still getting his money this summer. No doubt, he proved what he can do. Kenyon Martin, this wasn't speculation. This wasn't a lukewarm media take. This was a direct confirmation from someone who has lived inside the league's business machine. Austin Reaves is getting paid, no matter what role he finishes the season in. The contract numbers that will shake the league, the financial picture is staggering. If he stays in LA, up to $240+ million over 5 years. If he leaves for another team, about $178.5 million over 4 years either way. Austin Reaves is about to multiply his current earnings by nearly 4 times. For context, these are superstar-level numbers. Numbers that reshape franchises. Numbers that force front offices to restructure their long-term plans. Reaves has gone from undrafted underdog to role player to rising star to potentially one of the top free agents of the entire offseason. Whether the Lakers keep him or not, the story is already bigger than expected. But the most fascinating part? We're only warming up. As the Lakers continue navigating the shifting dynamics of their injury-shaken early season, Austin Reaves' story has evolved into one of the most fascinating plot lines unfolding in Los Angeles. What makes the situation so compelling isn't just a sudden spike in scoring or the way he unexpectedly carried the roster when the stars were sidelined. It's the undeniable sense that he's approaching a career-defining moment. And the people closest to the league, former players and analysts who recognize elite growth when they see it, are becoming increasingly vocal about what Reaves' rise truly means. Before the season began, very few expected Reaves would be thrust into a role that demanded such heavy scoring production. Yet when the injuries piled up and the rotation shrank, he was forced into a demanding high-volume offensive role that typically belongs to all-stars, not to an undrafted guard who once struggled just to earn minutes. That overperformance didn't happen by accident. It happened because Reaves had already been developing at a pace that many inside the Lakers organization identified, even if the general public had not. And now, with LeBron James and Luka Dončić both back in uniform, the focus has shifted once again. What happens to a rising star when he's suddenly surrounded by two of the greatest offensive engines in the game? Some young players shrink under that type of adjustment. Reaves, however, appears to be navigating the transition with remarkable poise, though it hasn't come without noticeable fluctuations in his rhythm. The reduced shot attempts were expected. The change in pace was expected. The readjustment to playing off the ball was expected. But what was not expected was how quickly the conversation surrounding Reaves' financial future exploded across the NBA landscape. It wasn't just casual chatter or mild speculation. Former All-Stars, retired veterans, and front office insiders have all begun to echo the same sentiment. Austin Reaves is about to secure one of the biggest paydays of the 2025 offseason. No opinion carried more weight this week than that of Gilbert, who's been one of the most influential former players when it comes to analyzing guard development. On his show, Gil's Arena, Arenas delivered a message that immediately lit up NBA social media feeds. Austin Reaves, if you're averaging 28 points while shooting just 31% from three, Arenas said, "You're going to shoot better now that I'm on the court." It was a simple line, but it packed layers. What Arenas was really saying was this: Reaves hasn't even played his best basketball yet, not next to LeBron James, and certainly not next to an elite initiator like Dončić. The implication? Once Reaves readjusted the rhythm of sharing the floor with superstar creators, his efficiency should normalize. And when efficiency normalizes, production stabilizes. And when production stabilizes, contract numbers explode. The analytics community agrees. Multiple league evaluators have privately suggested that Reaves' blend of scoring versatility, secondary playmaking, foul drawing ability, and offensive IQ place him in an elite tier of players entering unrestricted free agency, especially for teams with cap space and lacking dynamic guard scoring. That's why projections have his next contract ranging between $178 million and $240 million, depending on whether he stays with the Lakers or signs elsewhere. It's a staggering increase compared to his current salary, which sits far below market value for players producing at his level. And it aligns with the pattern the NBA has seen over the past several years. Guards who can score in bunches and create for themselves consistently earn nine-figure deals, even if they haven't made an all-star appearance. But the numbers only tell part of the story. What former players are emphasizing most is Reaves' response to pressure, and this season has been nothing short of a pressure cooker. When James went down with his injury, the Lakers needed someone to hold the offense together. Reaves did that. When Dončić remained sidelined and the team desperately needed a lead initiator, Reaves stepped into that role. When every defensive game plan was centered on shutting him down, Reaves still averaged more than 30 points to open the season. Those stretches, short as they were, proved something far more valuable than a hot shooting week or a lucky streak. They proved that Reaves could become a primary offensive option, not permanently, not at all NBA levels, but consistently enough to influence winning basketball. That's why Kenyon Martin, another former NBA standout with reputation for blunt, unapologetic honesty, made it clear that Reaves' recent dip in scoring is meaningless in the long run. Reaves might drop 3 or 4 points in scoring average, Martin said on Gil's Arena, but he still gets his money in the summer. No doubt, he already proved what he can do. Those words carry weight because Martin, a former number 1 overall pick, has seen countless players rise and fall. He's seen young guards flame out. He's seen fringe players disappear from the league. And he's also seen those rare moments when a player's talent surpasses the role they were initially given. Reaves, according to Martin, is firmly in that final category. And yet, the more you analyze Reaves' evolution, the tougher it becomes to determine his true ceiling. Has he already reached it? Is there another level ahead of him? Or is he destined to settle into that tier of elite complementary star, the type of player who elevates a team without needing to dominate? That's the question scouts have wrestled with all year. What's clearer is how drastically the Lakers' situation impacts his future. Los Angeles would love to keep Reaves. They've invested in his development, molded their offense to complement his strengths, and watched firsthand as he became one of their most reliable pieces. But the financial reality is brutal. If Reaves commands a full 5-year max, the Lakers must make hard decisions about the rest of the roster. It won't be easy, it won't be clean, and it certainly won't be cheap. But that is what happens when a player outperforms his contract. Meanwhile, a few rival teams have already begun evaluating whether they should prepare max contract offers for Reaves. Teams struggling with scoring depth, teams in need of a creator, teams whose franchise stars are pushing for more offensive support. He fits almost everywhere. And that's what makes his market so dangerous for the Lakers. But market value aside, let's return to the present moment, the actual product on the court. Since LeBron's return, Reaves has averaged 24 points, 50% from the field, 15 total rebounds, 5 assists. Only one thing has lagged behind: his three-point shooting. His 2-for-12 stretch can certainly raise eyebrows, but the film tells another story. Most of those attempts were clean looks. Most were in rhythm. Most were within the flow of the offense. And historically, Reaves is a reliable spot-up shooter. That slump isn't likely to last. Coaches often say that the hardest adjustment in basketball isn't learning how to become the number 1 option. It's learning how to go back to being a secondary or third option after carrying a team. It requires a shift in mentality. It demands more patience. It forces a player to readjust their timing, shot diet, and decision-making tempo. Reaves is now back in the process of making that adjustment. But the underlying skill set hasn't changed. His confidence hasn't changed. His shooting mechanics haven't changed. And his aggression with the ball certainly hasn't changed. In other words, the version of Austin Reaves we saw earlier in the season still exists. He just doesn't need to reveal himself every night. But when the playoffs arrive, when injuries inevitably strike again, when one of the superstars sits, when the Lakers desperately need someone to take over, he'll be ready. He's proven that already. This upcoming offseason is shaping up to be one of the most important moments of his career and one of the most intriguing questions for the Lakers organization. They've gambled on young guards before. They've let talented pieces slip away. They know what happens when a player they develop blossoms into a star somewhere else. This time, they might not let it happen. But whether the Lakers keep him or lose him, the outcome will shape the direction of the franchise for years to come. And that's why the NBA world is watching so closely. Leave a like and a comment. It really helps the channel grow and continue bringing you exclusive stories like this one.